बेचैन दिन मेरे बेचैन रात है, क्या मैं करूं कुछ बता। है मेरे पाँव ही खुद मेरी बेड़ियाँ, इनसे मुझे तू छुड़ा। तेरा मेरा रिश्ता पुराना, तेरा मेरा रिश्ता पुराना. Good evening. Welcome back to In the Khud. This just doesn't work. What do I do? It's not working. Is it because F16 is not working? Yeah. Okay. I don't think it's in my startup scripts. Okay. Once I run this, they should run. This is 15 July 2023, 6:43 p.m. and welcome back to the not so consistent Khud, because that's how it's been lately. And before I get into the shenanigans of In the Khud, the reason I sang Tera Mera Rishta Purana, it's a beautiful song, no question about that. It's almost like nostalgic because it's from a particular phase in life, where these Imran Hashmi films used to come. But this particular song is expressing love towards God, towards the true self. And this is something I was contemplating yesterday as well, that every single love song, every single Bollywood love song or any album, any song that's talking about love essentially, our normal reflex reaction is to think of it like a romantic relationship with another person when you're singing that song or you're keeping that song in mind. I'm sure even the creators of that song are thinking about that in those terms, right? It's essentially talking about another person. But that's really not how it is. On a much deeper level, every single love song that's ever been written or will ever be written can always be directed towards the true self, to God, to the self. And if you have been following Muji's satsangs, which you've got to be extremely fortunate to be interested in those in the first place, or if you have any experience with self-inquiry on the path of Advaita Vedanta, you would understand what I'm trying to say here. But if you don't, that's completely all right. But yeah, this is something I want to share. So this song actually explicitly says, Tera yakeen kyun maine kiya nahi, tujhse raha kyun juda. And if you see the actual video, it's the protagonist Imran Hashmi is actually going through a process where life has given up on him, and it is not him who's looking after him, but it's some force, some universal thing, like God is taking care of him. He's taken to some Buddhist monastery, and those Buddhist monks there take care of him and everything. And yeah, it's really touching. And the lyrics are written very, very well. So even Safarnama, the song from Tamasha, it has the similar kind of vibe, especially in the lyrics, where it says, Meri taraf tu kadam bada, something like that. I love these two songs specifically lately. So coming back to the In the Khud stuff from the philosophy, I am going to talk about two main things in this episode. First being how to make markers useful inside Premiere Pro, how to add markers, and then export it as a CSV, and then how you can take that CSV knowledge and using some basic Microsoft Excel, you can convert it into YouTube timestamps that you can straight away drop onto your YouTube videos description. Yeah, and I'm gonna try and automate it even more, so that it comes to a point where while I'm editing the In the Khud videos, where I can just drop in some markers, and there'll be an auto hotkey script mostly, which will do the exporting and everything for me, and we'll see if that point comes. But anyway, let's say at this point something is changing in the video. This, by the way, is the Stable Diffusion session that I did for the full-time job on last Monday, I guess, and I edited today and uploaded it. But you see, while I was editing, I added all these markers here. I'm going to show you how to add that marker as well. So what you want to do is you want to come and press M, not with anything selected, otherwise it'll put live marker on the clip. So with nothing selected, with Control Shift A, and why does QI press doesn't work? And I paid so much money for this, for the official license. So Control Shift A makes nothing selected. I'm going to come and press M, and I'm going to double click on this. You're going to write whatever you want, right? Like let's say, here's a change. You can change its color and everything. Comment marker, chapter marker, segmentation marker, web link. I'm not exactly sure what the difference among all of these is, but let me just press OK with, let's say, blue color here. Okay, because blue is my favorite color. Now the problem here is that After Effects, the way you put markers with star asterisk, this key here. You put a marker and automatically you see your name of the marker here. But inside Premiere you have to hold down Alt and then left click and drag this out. Then you will see what is inside that. Which is kind of like if you use Photoshop and there's a blend if option on every single layer, like underlying layer, you hold down Alt and then you break it apart. So that's how you see what is exactly in it. Now it doesn't really matter if it's a comment marker or segmentation chapter marker. I mean, I think it does something, but I'm not exactly clear about what that does. But now this is how you're gonna, while you're editing the video, this is how you're gonna make your markers. That's the first thing. Second thing you want to do is you want to come in here and export your markers. So if you were to see my entire Premiere Pro window, okay, inside here you should be file, export, and beautiful. You see markers are grayed out, which is like, why? There are clearly markers. My sequence is clearly active. So why is file, export, markers? Oh, you can see it now. But if it's not happening, it's because the you want to even select the sequence here. Like let's say I don't select the sequence here, and I go in here and say file, export, markers. Oh, it's grayed out. What the hell? So you want to select the main. There are two sequences in my project. Select the main sequence here in your outliner. You call it outliner in Premiere? I don't know. Call it in Blender. So file, export, and export markers. Importantly here, you want to keep at CSV. These two are webpage.html. I don't really know, but you'll get some use out of it. But CSV, comma separated values. You want to export it wherever you want to. I'm going to name this as markers2 and hit OK. And now it will give you this pop-up. You can either just come out of this equation or say open folder. That will actually open that thing here. Now this markers is something I'd already exported, markers2.csv. I'm going to show you. I'm going to open, double click here, and this should open another workbook here for markers2. Okay, so your marker name has come, your description has come, your in point, out point, duration, and marker type is chapter. I mean, of course, once it is out in the CSV format, you could probably give some or the other use case to it, that if the marker type is chapter, if it is segmentation, if it is this or that, you do this with it. But for this particular purpose that I'm trying to show, you don't really need that. Okay, so this was my original file. Do not get confused here. It's exactly the same, except for there is not that one marker that I just added. Okay, just forget about it. Now this was how my thing was as well earlier. Now over here you see I've made one more column which says YouTube chapters. What this is doing is it is converting this data in our data into presentation 0037. This is exactly what I want to be placed in my YouTube timestamps. Of course, you need an intro 00 at the beginning, which I should probably add here so that you do not get confused, right? Okay, something like this. You need this, and then this thing you paste inside YouTube, you're good to go. You didn't have to do any manually searching through your timeline or your exported video to see where is what. This will be a little different if you are planning to, let's say, sometimes if I want to make a recap of sorts inside my edit, then of course you've done that edit, and just do make sure that this marker thing is something that you're exporting at the very end after the entire finished video is exported, because then your markers should be aligned properly. Even with triple delete, the markers move rightly. But I think if I use it practically more, I'll get a few cases where I get stuck or something like that. Anyway, how do you convert this thing into this thing? That's what I'm going to try and show here. Let's say I have something here called new entry. Okay, and I'm just going to take one of these data here. Okay, so 1, 24, 37, 13. I'm going to take 2 actually. So I'm going to duplicate this here. I hope you were able to see that Control D does it. I'm going to trust that QI press is doing exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, and from 24, let's say it goes 37, 53 times. Now the way this is exported out of Premiere is hours, 00 hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. Now over here I want just minutes and seconds, but there is a condition. Like if you see here, there's an if statement. If let's say this is 00 in the beginning, like if you see the hour is 00, then I just want 0037. But if it is not 00, I want 010139, because I have gone over 1 hour in this particular video. I got until 1 hour 30 minutes. So that's how I want the timestamps. Oh, I don't want 00. You could just have 00 throughout. I think YouTube should be able to recognize that as well. But this is just a little more functionality, which is nice. So I've of course taken the help of ChatGPT here for the Excel functions, but let me try and recreate this by myself if it is possible. So if you see here, what is the formula? Mid, C3, C1, C2, and concatenate it with some stuff. Now right off the bat, first thing I'm going to try and do is recreate this here. Okay, so now what is the mid function? Let's see, equal to mid. Now if you just put a opening parentheses, you should be able to see. Now wait, before I do anything, I want to actually zoom in, because one thing I've been noticing a lot with tutorials is, make sure that your tutorial is mobile friendly, right? A lot of the times things are so small on the screen that it's not quite visible on the mobile aspect of it. So I'm just trying to focus a little more on that. Maybe a little more zoom would be nicer. Okay, I think this is, do you not have a dark theme for Excel? Okay, forget about it. Let's convert this into something that is somewhere like what we want. Okay, so we're going to use equal to mid, open the bracket. Now text is basically which is the cell that you're looking for. So C25 is my text. Start num. Start num basically stands for which point you want to start taking things from. So this is not like your JavaScript where it's starting from 0, it's actually starting from 1 here. So 1, 2, 3, even your semicolon is a character. So mid is basically telling you a range out of your string of characters. So I'm going to start from 1 and I'm going to go up until number of characters you want to go. So 1, 2, I want to go for 2 characters. So comma 1, comma 2. And if I close this, ideally I should get 0, 0. Okay, so that's how it works. If I was to select 24, for instance, I would go in here, I would start from 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll start from 4 and I would go for 2 characters. So this should give me 24. Okay, now with this knowledge, I know that I can segregate my hours, minutes and seconds. Okay, so if I want to get the whole thing from hours, minutes to seconds, it should be something like equals to mid C25, go from 1 for 2 characters. Okay, and then I want to put an and I want to put inside double quotes this, and I'm going to again put an and. This is like how you do things in JavaScript. And I'm going to go mid, again C25. So we've taken 1, we've taken the hours. I'm going to start from 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to take 2. Okay, and we can again put double colon, and we're going to do mid, again C25, and start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Start from 7 and you go for 2, and this should, okay, it's not working. I think what you have to do is you want to add I think I forgot an and here. And yeah, so this is how you've gotten your hours, your minutes and your seconds. Milliseconds, something we don't care about in YouTube timestamps, at least in this particular use case. This is how you got that. Now I have to simply put this inside a if function. Okay, now I'm going to select this whole thing and copy it, cut it, whatever. Now I'm going to put an if statement here. So the easiest way, it's going to be very difficult to do it right here. So the easiest way I find to do is to come into formulas, logical, and say if. Okay, so now inside if, let me just paste this thing in Notepad so I don't forget stuff. Okay, now we saw that this is hour, seconds. Now your condition has to be if hours, so equal to this. If this logical test, this is going to be a condition. If this equal to, let's say 0, 0, which is true. Oh my god. So how do you go back into that? You want to come in here and say formula insert function. So you come back here. If this is equal to 0, 0, which is true, in that case I want you to display only, let me just copy the whole thing and paste it here. Why is it showing invalid? Oh, equal to you don't need. Okay, so now in both the cases I'm getting the same thing, 0, 0, 24, 37. But if that is true, like if that is 0, 0, that means we are less than 1 hour. The moment it changes from 0, 0 to anything else, that means it's gone more than 1 hour. From like 0, 0, 59, 0, 0, the moment it becomes 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, that is the case. If that happens, I don't want you to take the first part. I just want you to take from, sorry, if that doesn't happen, like as long as this is true, I want you to go 24, 37. Otherwise you can go 0, 0, 24, 37. I think if you follow this step by step, you will understand what the logic is. It's not very complicated. And I'm just gonna hit OK. So now here I'm getting 24:37. Why? Because this is 24:37:13 and 00. We haven't gotten to over 1 hour. If I drag this down, I'm going to get 1:24:37. Why? Because here there is 1. For instance, if the video went on till 2 hours, 25 minutes and like 43 seconds and some more milliseconds. If I was to, this is something that would be generated from Premiere, so you don't have to worry about it. If I was to drag this down, you're going to get 2:25:43. And now if the timestamp was at 00:54, 35 and something, if you drag this down, you should only get 54:32. So this was a little thing that I learned inside Excel today, in how you can convert your CSV from Premiere Pro into timestamps that are actually usable right inside of YouTube chapters. I hope that was something useful. And again, I have to at this point you can just drop off. Like, I'm just gonna do some more nonsense, but I said at the very beginning as well that I've been very inconsistent with inthekhud. The last time I recorded was on Tuesday. Now recently what's been happening a lot more is, at the end of the day, I'm like, there isn't anything really important that I learned, and that is the mind, right? Because the entire purpose of inthekhud was just show up every day and just make something every day and upload it. But this little laziness has been creeping in because there wasn't anything I learned, so that's a problem. Other than that, as far as learning is concerned, I just bought, like, before hitting record, I bought this course by, I know this guy already. I have seen a few of his YouTube video thumbnails. I did not actually end up seeing the YouTube video, but yeah, this guy by the name of, you don't see the instructor name here. I basically bought the Unreal Engine course by Ashay something. It was Nafay Sheikh, and I bought this course. And then the trailer itself was very promising, and it's 13.5 hours of on-demand videos. The reason I want to really dive into Unreal Engine is because the render I made for the full-time job was a complete 3D animation, everything. With Unreal Engine, it is extremely, that's what my impression is of Unreal Engine as of now, that it's very simple to make hyper realistic renders, which inside Blender, I know that you can increase the subdivisions and you can add stuff like those and do it, but it's just not happening. So maybe Unreal Engine is a better approach to do that. So I'm going to focus on that now for the next few days. And the React.js course I haven't yet completed. I was thinking about extensions, but again, I am not able to find quality material online where After Effects extensions, making them is like pretty well documented or something like that. Other than that, yesterday, for instance, was an entirely full-time job heavy day. Like, so many videos I worked on for the full-time job itself. And that's how life has been. I mean, one thing that's really bugging me from within is the fact that my Riyaz and guitar has been just not happening for so many days now, and I need to somehow switch things up and bring it back. Like, even without any practice, in the beginning of the video, I'm just singing because I just love the process of singing so much. And the reason I prefer singing on inthekhud is because there's no standard that I have to reach, because I know nobody's gonna see the video, at least as of now. So it's like it just frees me so much that I can just close my eyes and sing, which is what I really love about singing. I don't want to make it another thing where I'm trying very hard to record vocals and trying very hard to record instruments and then put it out in a way that it's studio recorded and everyone loves it. I don't want to do that. I just want to keep singing as as that analog activity which brings me joy just for the sake of doing it. So yeah, I think I've spoken enough. It's already 21 minutes. I'm going to try and see if this timestamp thing works in this particular edit, and then I'm going to see what are the things that I want to automate so that every inthekhud video starts coming with timestamps now, which would be crazy, wouldn't it be? So with that, thank you so much for being in the code. I shall catch you tomorrow, Sunday. I don't know, maybe or maybe not, but on Monday for sure. Peace.